Hello, good afternoon here in the Philippines. Good to have you back again. Do you know, just recently there's been a video put up by another foreigner here in the Philippines talking about his American mate, how he's got himself into quite a sticky position, whether or not true or not. The fact is that he apparently is sitting in jail here in the Philippines. And it brings to mind the reality that living in a foreign country that is known for a different approach to life, that is that we can all think that we're safe living our lives the best we can with our partner. And the thing is that a lot of you guys come out here and you get yourself hitched up with a lady who's got children already. And when I say children, it might be a child or it could be more than one child. The reality is it's a ready-made family. Now, particularly here in the Philippines, it's a recipe in some respects to a very big red flag. And I say that with caution because even though many families don't experience what I'm talking about, there are the few that you need to be aware of. And there's a tendency here, like there is in the UK and other Western countries, such as Australia and New Zealand, that an accusation of interfering maybe with one of her children can easily get you into hot water. Of course, the checks and balances that allow you to circumvent or resolve the issue overseas are totally different here. Here the accusation only has to be made and taken very seriously by authorities. Therefore, an issue that I've discovered here, living here in Bulacan, is that I was told by very good resource, somebody here in the home, that there are a family here of what I would describe more as like gypsies. In other words, they don't come from the area naturally. They come from another area and they've moved here and they're transitional people in the sense they've got a family of children, grandchildren, and they move around from one plot of land to the next, being moved on by disgruntled landowners who are not happy in the way that they originally allowed them to live there, so they move them on. And they live at the bottom end of the scale. They barely have enough to feed themselves. Therefore, they'll resort to anything to make money. And you don't have to be a foreigner to experience this. In this particular case, these individuals that I'm talking about have made accusations and they've almost made it a means of support. Of course, we've all heard of the old little boy crying wolf. Well, they fortunately have had that label put on them too. So there's less likelihood at the moment for it being repeated. But what they've done is that they've used their young children, the young girls of the family, to entice the idea by others around the neighborhood that their husband or their son or one of the family members has been interfering with these young ladies. And of course, as always, there's two sides to the coin, the shock and horror of the accusation being made against a member of the family. And the fact that they then try and extort money from that person for the matter to go away. Now, you've heard of stories of similar situations where people have got to court and for a certain amount of money, the issue seems to be settled. And that's the point. Here in the Philippines, it's so easy to get yourself into a situation, not necessarily by your own making, but by the fact that you are seen as an easy touch for money. You'll pay them off rather than get the inconvenience or the shame being put on you, or possibly ending up in real deep water with the authorities. So my advice to all of you, see, I mean, this same family, since I've been here, the young girls, and we're talking 11 to 15 years of age, they always go up the road, they're always very friendly, and they're always waving, you know, like that. And you can innocently wave back to them. The more you wave, the more they wave. And you think of the story that I'm telling you now, and you think to yourself, maybe it's not such a good idea waving, because I also noticed the grandfather telling the young girls off for doing it. In other words, apparently he's trying to discourage the practice of extorting money from locals just to survive with unsubstantiated claims and things like that. And I think that this is why they have laws here in the Philippines where you can't be seen with a minor. A foreigner cannot be seen walking along the road with a foreigner and a minor Filipina. And the reason for that is to protect the Filipina and the Filipino, boy or girl, from the possibility of any kind of wrongdoing. Now, of course, it's a grey area if the mother has permitted the child to accompany the foreigner, maybe to the shop or the sari-sari store. But it only takes one person who's either got a grudge against you or some kind of wish to get you into trouble because of envy, maybe, or even just jealousy that they didn't get to have you too. So you really have to be on your guard about how you behave in public here in the Philippines, and also, more importantly, within your own family group, your new family group. Because if you fall out with your wife, your ex, or your partner, you have to be very wary of what they might do to inflict some revenge upon you. And after all, remember, the law is on their side, not yours. So, whilst you might be seen as an upstanding person in the community, behind closed doors, if you get into trouble with your girlfriend or your partner or even your wife, and you say enough is enough and you pass company, be very wary of minor children and accusations being made about them. A poignant reminder that we are not always in a safe position here in the Philippines. Thanks for watching.